Player coming at you with my first chaotic video. Real video for anyone who doesn't fully understand the rules of chaotic. So these are a bunch of my cards. Of Fire, Water, Wisdom. Again, Outperform Power 5 and Initiative Fire. So you're probably gonna go first. The Love Knitter, he's amazing. I'm gonna call this my Desert Raiders deck. Ultra Rare Headmaster in Kaija. Ooh, these brand once again. Probably my favorite pull today. Elements. This is up YouTube. Speed Player here, coming at you with another match on Trade Cards Online. What is up YouTube? Speed Player here, and what I have is 288 packs of Secrets of Velocity Alliances Unraveled.
What is up YouTube? Speed Player here, finally coming at you with episode 2 of 5 Things Wrong with the Show, a series of mine on which I rewatch episodes of the show and point out their flaws, not with respect to plot or anything like that, but with respect to the card game. And so this is all about the 3rd episode of the 1st season of Chaotic. I covered the previous 2 episodes in my 1st episode of this series. You can check out the link in the description for that. Right now, let's get into first thing wrong with this episode. Alright, so your number one thing is, as soon as Tom enters the Jerome and he's setting up his deck, obviously he picks Maxor, and his general strategy is go with overworld locations. And that's fine, but the cards that pop up when he's going through his locations, and I just picked 2 random ones, but it's generally for most of them, this is not the image you see when you take the actual physical card. So, Skeletal Springs, this is what it looks like in the show, but this is not the image you see on the card in the card game. This is right here. You can see it has a Fludemorph in it, and that is way different. And then this image of the Riverlands is just a shot, and it looks different, much different than what we see in the card game. You can see it looks just like animated in the show, and there's nothing too special about it. But then when you take a look at the actual card right here, you can see that it's much different. It's from a different angle, and there appears to be a shiny waterfall in the middle, which you don't see in this in the regular shots from the show. So yeah, that's number 1, and on to number 2. Alright, so Tom and Peyton as Maxor and Malvadine fighting their lands. They make their way into Crystal Cave. Maxor has a Psych Lance. He lets loose an Energy Blast, and it bounces around. Then Peyton proceeds to say, "You can't use the Psych Lance in here, bro. This place intensifies attacks." And then he does a Wind Slash, which, I don't know, it's 5 damage, whatever. So that's the point. Now, while physically I guess it makes sense that a bunch of crystals would bounce around a lightning bolt, and if you fell on these crystals, I assume it would hurt a lot, because diamonds are the hardest thing known to man. But if we just go by the card, no, Crystal Cave does not intensify attacks, it just reduces damage on your first attack, which I don't know how you could interpret it in respect to Flame or whatever. It does not increase the damage of any attacks, so that's your second thing wrong. On to number 3. Alright, so, as you can maybe tell, as I was nearing the end of this episode, that's when the amount of, things wrong just, exponentially picked up. So, again, we're getting near the end. Maxor and Malvadine are still duking it out, and Peyton uses Ferocity attack. And as you can see with the picture here, Ferocity, 5 base damage, 5 air damage, and Stat Check Courage, 75, deal 10 damage. And as you can see here, Malvadine's, this is a list of average stats for Malvadine. Malvadine does not have the required courage to do full damage on Ferocity, nor does he have air. Now, later on, in a few seconds later, Peyton actually says he was just playing around with the Ferocity because Maxor's energy is so low, which is fine if he knows that it's not going to do anything important because Maxor just punches it away. But when it cuts to Sarah, in between, she says Maxor's courage is too high to be affected by Ferocity, and that's why it did 0 damage. And so the thing wrong is they're making it seem like Ferocity is a challenge, which is why Maxor's courage would affect it. But no, it's the stat check. The only thing that's going to be affected by it is Malvadine's courage, which isn't high enough, and also he doesn't have the element. So the thing wrong is really on Sarah here, because Peyton knew why it would do 0, but then the show wants us to think that it's because he failed a challenge and not because he didn't make the check or have the element. So it's your third thing. It's a bit of an elaborate thing. I hope you can wrap your head around it. On to number 4. Alright, so as Tom and Peyton are nearing the end of the battle, Tom's getting a bit desperate. He's low on energy. He doesn't have many moves left, but he decides to use his music. The music he picked was Song of Ember Nova, and he casts it, and this is what it looks like when it's being cast. And then it rains down this energy blast on Malvadine, who looks like it actually hurts him. But that's not possible because Song of Ember Nova, as you can see here, only affects creatures with fire and air, deals undead damage. But Malvadine has no elements, as you can see here, and so the show leads you to believe that the music does damage to Malvadine, which it doesn't, and then it also somehow entraps him in this energy prism, which he should be able to get out of because it's doing 0 damage, so it should just pass through one of the beams unharmed. I don't know. On to number 5. Alrighty, number 5. So, Malvadine is now trapped in the energy cage of Ember Nova, and then Tom gets all cocky and he's like, "What are you gonna do now? You can't move." "I'm gonna level the playing field here, bro. Here comes Rust Toxic!" And then Malvadine fires a Rust Toxic out of his mouth, as you see here. And then he hits Maxor. Maxor's like, "Oh no, I can't move. What am I gonna do?" And then Peyton's all like, "Ha ha ha, I'm gonna use my Liquidizer now to finish you off." But Rust Toxic, let's look at Rust Toxic, the card, shall we? As you see here, Earth 5 damage, Water 5 damage, and Courage Challenge 10. Which means that Malvadine just by himself playing it does not have enough courage on Maxor to win the challenge, so that part's no good. He doesn't have Earth, that's no good. And his Liquidizer isn't out, so that means he doesn't have Water, which, if we assume that's how Battle Gear works, obviously. So that means the water part doesn't work. So that means the whole attack does 0, and then given the logic that if the Ferocity is doing a little amount of damage, Maxor can just punch it away, he should just be able to bust out of this Rust Toxic right here, and he should be able to continue to move. And then, so once he's all rusted up, Peyton then takes out his Liquidizer to finish him off. So yeah, this proves that he doesn't have water when he's doing the Rust Toxic, so it shouldn't have any effect. Plus, the show never uses the fact that Maxor has an ability where he can just use music counters to heal, which he never ever does, which is kind of stupid. So bottom line, the Rust Toxic should have done nothing. And also, why are you standing there monologuing? Like, just, he's in a cage. Finish him off. Hit him with a Lavalanche, for Christ's sake. So yeah, that is the 5th thing wrong. I think I covered that there pretty well. So yeah, guys, thank you so much for watching. I hope you enjoyed. I had a lot of fun making this series. I didn't even really have to watch the first half of this episode. I could have just got to the start of the battle and gone from that, and even the last 5 minutes. Yeah, this was really fun to make. Like I said, the link to the previous episodes in the description, so go check that out if you haven't seen it. As I've been sitting here not uploading for these past few weeks, I noticed I gotten a few more subscribers just for doing nothing. So if you are one of the few people who recently subscribed to my channel in the last week or so, thank you for subscribing, obviously. Welcome to the channel. I hope you enjoy your stay with me. So yeah, guys, for this video, like, I'll be honest, I've been having a rough week. After I upload this video, my rough week is not going to be over, so it's going to keep continuing on for a few days. So if you all could do me a big favor to just help me get through my day-to-day, if this video could get to 20 likes, 20 likes, that would be a huge boost for me. That would make me let me know that you guys are appreciative. It'd just be a really nice thing to see. So yeah, I'm Steve Fleury. See you in the next video, guys. Peace out. Have an awesome day. Thank you for watching. I'll see you soon.